All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You're probably wondering what the hell is going on with this outfit, right? Arnas, you usually don't wear this stuff. Exactly. And this is what inspired me to make this video, how I went from being a broke kid to actually being a successful digital entrepreneur, okay? Making over $500,000 online, doing all of this cool stuff, meeting a lot of cool people, traveling the world while doing it. And in the meantime, I as well coached, hundreds of others to do the same thing and had a crazy impact on others just by doing what I'm doing, right? And I wanted to talk about this kind of journey because right now, as you see, not my usual outfit, right? I'm right now in Bulgaria setting up my company with like a law firm and stuff like that. I just came from our first meeting where I signed like a bunch of documents. And I had this moment of reflection where I was like, wow, like 4 years ago, I was living with my parents. I was in the last year of high school, and I kind of like really wanted to break free out of, that thinking that everyone around me had, because everyone around me was like, well, your life is going to be this way. You're going to go to university. You're going to get a degree. You're a smart guy. You're going to get a great salary and you're going to love it. And to me, I started probably hearing that since, I was, let's say, 12 years old, right? And the first time I heard it, I was like, well, wait a second. Why does it have to be this way and not that way? And what I noticed is no one else kind of noticed that. No one questioned it, right? Like when I was in school and, one of my teachers told me, hey, like, you need to study well so you can get into a good university. Like everyone around me was like, yeah, that makes sense. And I was like, well, why would I want to go into a good university? Like, why is that important to me? And the teachers would be like, so you could get a good salary, and I'm from Lithuania. By the way, like for the people who don't know me, my name is Arnas. I've been an entrepreneur for like, since the day I can remember, because entrepreneur is basically, who you are as a person. But I've been a successful entrepreneur for, let's say, 4 years now. And, I run a brand called Passionate Income, and you can check me out more in my other videos on this YouTube channel. But essentially, like, everyone kind of like went with the flow, right? Like, okay, I need a good degree to get a good job. And then I would ask teachers, well, what's a good job? Like, what is a good pay? And they would tell me, like, and I'm from Lithuania, by the way. It's like a small country in Eastern Europe, Baltic countries. You can say like Northern Europe. Pretty cold country. And I think the situation now in Lithuania is getting better and better. People are getting paid more. But when I was studying, I remember 1,000 euros a month was like a good salary. All right. When I was in high school. And the teachers would tell me, well, there's like one of our students, finished this and that. And like they're making 1,500 euros a month. And they would look up to those people. And I was like, wait a second, like 1,500 a month. I was like, I always had this entrepreneurial mindset, okay? When I was growing up, my parents didn't have much. They only started having more when they opened their business. And I was probably 13, 14 when they did. And that kind of further opened my mind because, their business was just a small pizza place in like a city, in a town of 10,000 people, right? So it's not like a huge business. It's not like they're multimillionaires or anything. But I realized, like, wait a second, 1,500? Like, how many pizzas do you need to sell to make that? And I was helping my dad around at the bar. Like he would show me the papers and how everything is done. So I'm extremely grateful for him for that. But essentially, how I went from that, just questioning stuff like why would anyone try to study hard for 12 years in school to then study very hard for 4 years in university just to make 1,500 euros a month and be like, yeah, that's cool. Like, it never made sense to me. So how did I went from like questioning that and having no plan, no nothing, no idea really what business is, to like where I'm at right now, where I'm, today I'm opening my third company, actually, like incorporating a third company. I also have a company in Dubai and stuff like that. And like, it's really cool because I'm only 21 years old, right? And I had all these experiences. So how did I actually make it happen, right? And I think it's a combination of many things, which I cannot mention all of them today, like in this one video, because it would probably be like a very long podcast. But just so you have an understanding, right? I was always an entrepreneurial kid. It wasn't just like I saw a video of some bald kickboxer guy speaking and I was like, oh yeah, I want to be an entrepreneur. I think, like, even when I was like a young kid, everyone around me kind of knew I'll be an entrepreneur. Like, I didn't know what I'm going to do. They didn't know what I'm going to do, but they kind of knew I was going to do something, okay? And when I mean something, like, I mean something in business specifically, because I just had it since like day one. not to brag or anything, but I remember like at 8 years old, like I wanted to start selling like vegetables at a local market, like reselling vegetables, and I kind of understood the logistics of it all. Like, I would go to a farmer, buy it in bulk for cheaper, and then sell it in smaller markets where like rich folks shop around. The people who don't have work, in the middle of the day on Tuesday or whatever, like, that's who I'm gonna sell it to. And I had a pretty good idea even at 8 years old. At probably 10 or 11 years old, I was really into like scootering. So what I mean by that, like these kids who go to a skate park with a scooter and do like all the tricks. I was all into that, probably from 10 to 14. So in that time period, I actually did an event at probably 12 years old. I organized an event at a skate park and I charged everyone to be a part of it. And I charged for it because I had like prizes. So I funded the prizes, okay, at the skate park for like the winners. I had, 3 different prizes for like first place, second place, third place. Probably around 10 people came. They all paid, I don't remember what, but they paid me. And I organized it all just through messaging like people on Facebook. And I was probably 12 years old. Someone from like our town hall showed up and they were supportive as well. They were like, oh, that's a great job. They took pictures. Like, if I could probably still find pictures if I just Google my name, because they wrote an article about it, like a 12-year-old threw an event at a skate park, and it was great. And yeah, I mean, like, I always was very entrepreneurial. And by the way, like, yes, I paid for those prizes from that money, but I still left some profit. I was an entrepreneur. I was a businessman. Probably I made, I don't know, €5 or something. But, I always was thinking in ways on how can I make money. I was reselling stuff, reselling shoes, reselling, bicycles, like everything you can think of, I've probably done. And I'd say from 13, 14 to like 17, I tried so many different things. So I did Shopify dropshipping. It was kind of, let's say, somewhat successful. I made sales. I've done affiliate marketing. I've done trading. I've done crypto. I've done MLM, so multi-level marketing. But I didn't know it was MLM. I got involved into some crazy schemes where like you need to invite people to get like €5, like just stuff like that, right? And I tried so many things. I watched every single video under the sun on how to make money online. How is it possible? And I remember probably when I was like 15, I saw a video of like a digital nomad in Bali, and I was like, this is my why. Like, I just want to go to Bali. That's why I'm doing all of this, right? Um, and I was like, I'll find a way on how I can make money in like anywhere in the world, and then I'll just travel to Bali. Like that was my like peak. If I could go to Bali and make money online, that was like that's how far my imagination went, right? And then over time, obviously, it changed. My goals changed, and then when I was 17, I was in my last year of high school, right? Because I started at 6 years old going to school. It's 12 years, so I finish at 18, right? But I was 17 years old, and the the Matrix was attacking me. I don't want to even use that word, but when I say the Matrix, my mom has three bachelor's degrees, and she really, really, really wanted for me to study, right? And I always told her, look, I want to be a businessman. Like, she was like, oh, cool, study business. I was like, Mom, you don't understand. Like, the best way to learn about business is to do business, you know? Like, I listened to all of the YouTube advice and read all the Rich Dad Poor Dad books. Um, and I was extremely anti-Matrix 17-year-old, right? And then my mom was like, no, like you're going to university. Like you have nothing solid going on. And by the way, like my mom's super smart. She's very good at networking. You know, she knows a lot of people. She's also a psychologist, so she knows a lot of people who like became successful businessmen or business people early on. And she told me like, look, Arnes, like you're 17 now. You either need to do something already, or like you'll just need to go to college. Because then what she told me is like was it really hit me. She said like every single millionaire I know, and she knows like I think a lot of millionaires, right? She said, well, every single millionaire I know started something at 15, 16, right? So like what are you waiting for? And that really hit me, and I was like, okay, I only have like 1 year to prove to my mom I can make money with my business online. Because when I finish school, obviously she'll tell me, hey, apply to a university. And then my plan was like, I'll just pull out my phone and show the numbers that I'm doing online. And if I'm doing anything solid, then she'll be like, okay. So that was my plan. I started Passionate Income, you know. And I mean, I did so many things. Passionate Income was kind of like a side project, And guess what? I succeeded with Passionate Income. It just worked. It was meant to work. I needed to prove it to my mom. And like, I don't know what happened. The stars aligned or God helped me. Like, I don't know what happened exactly, but by some magical move, I kind of figured it out. And then I didn't really figure out how to turn it into a real business, but I figured out how to grow on Instagram, how to get to that 100,000 followers. And then, I really invested a lot of time and money into educating myself onto how to actually turn this into a business and start making money. And when I finished school, like high school, I was already making like two and a half grand a month. And that summer after I finished school, like I kept doing these numbers. And then I told my mom, look, like I'm definitely not looking to go to university. And she was like, okay, like do 1 year. Don't go, like do a gap year. If you don't know what a gap year is, like you finish high school, you don't do anything for a year, or like you don't go to university for a year. You just live life, right? Because you're a fully functioning adult. And my mom was like, do a gap year, and then if you want to, you can, you can decide afterwards. So I said, okay, Mom, I'll do a gap year. I just as I got like my diploma that I finished high school, I went straight to Spain and I left my parents' home. I was like, I need to change my environment to actually like grow as a person. And I did. I changed my environment. I completely moved. I became a fully functioning adult. And I think I matured so quick in like a matter of 6 months because everything was on my own. Like, I didn't ask for a single penny. Like, my parents didn't really help me that much. Like, they helped me. I don't want to discredit them. But like, I was fully on my own. Like, I was making money on my own. I was dealing with life on my own fully, like bills, everything, living on my own, making my own decisions, right? And then pretty much when I moved out to Spain, I didn't have any friends or anything. I mean, I knew some people, I had some acquaintances, but you know what it meant? I had the peace of mind that I really needed, where I had some savings, nothing too crazy, but I had some savings where I knew, like, okay, I can probably live in Spain for like 3 to 6 months now. I had income. Um, I had the peace of mind where, like, okay, I can focus now on my business and make it happen and scale my business. So I really isolated myself from everyone for around 3 or 4 months. And in those 3 to 4 months, I literally went from making like 2K to 10K a month. Okay. And that was like an insane jump, but I didn't really feel it right away because I was living very frugally, right? I still had that scarce mindset that something can happen. Like, I don't know. And it wasn't really that solid. Like, the money I was making, it wasn't the long-term plan, but I was making that money. And then I just started becoming a real entrepreneur. And I say a real entrepreneur, I just started becoming better and better and better every single day myself and improving 1% better every single day in any aspect of life, like talking in front of the camera. That's what I'm doing now. But 3 years ago, I was like struggling with pretty much everything. Like, I couldn't even write in English properly. Like, I struggled with so many things. So I started reading books. I started working out way more. I started networking. I started, watching different courses and joining programs and getting mentors and all of that. And guess what? After doing all of that, like after I hit that 10K a month, 1 year later, it took me one more year, and I went to my beautiful dream, Bali, which I dreamed about for so long. And you know what? Like, my dreams were kind of crushed. It's kind of the saying where, like, make sure to not meet your heroes. Like, I went to the place where I thought, like, that's my goal. Like, that's where I want to spend the rest of my life, just because I saw it on YouTube. And then I realized, like, whoa, like, I don't like it here. And I didn't, I left. And my dreams were kind of crushed for a bit. And I'd say after I went to Bali, that's where my real entrepreneurship growth began, because I realized it's not about the destination. It's not about, oh, I want to drive a Porsche 911 992 GT3 in navy, in baby blue, or whatever. It's not about that. It's about the journey. It's about self-improvement. It's about, like, when people tell you enjoy the journey, like, okay, maybe I don't have, a mansion, whatever, or like a waterfront mansion, or I don't drive a Ferrari, but I live pretty freaking cool life, and I'm definitely enjoying the journey, right? So that's what they mean. When they say enjoy the journey, it doesn't mean you're going to struggle for 50 years to just get to that. No, like, I'm literally loving my life, and I know where I'm going. And I think that was the switch that Bali made me realize, right? Because when I went to Bali, I realized, wait, I don't like Bali, but I still have this business. I still want to keep doing it. I actually enjoy running my business. I actually enjoy this life, right? I enjoy talking about it. Like, that's why I'm making this video. I enjoy talking about business, mindset, entrepreneurship. I love all of this stuff. And I think I kind of changed as a person from there on. And I was still making like 10 grand a month, more or less. I had some months where I made 20 or 30 grand, but more or less like 10 grand a month. Let's say an average of like 12 to 15K at that time. And I started traveling the world. I started actually enjoying the journey. I started, um, checking the boxes that I always wanted to check off. And at this point, I think I traveled to 26 or 27 countries while running my business. Obviously, like right now, I'm in Bulgaria getting my company incorporated, and I'm filming this video. I'm running this business, right? I'm working on my laptop and on my phone. Um, and I learned how to do all of that. That's how I went from being like a broke student, like my parents weren't very rich at that point, to like where I'm at today. Obviously, my parents are doing better today. I'm doing way better. My family in general is doing better. I'm very proud of what I achieved, and I know it's just the beginning, you know? And also, like, it's now that I'm filming this, it's 30th of September. So I don't know. Maybe like something will happen today, and we'll hit even bigger numbers. But like this month, September of 2024, was by far the biggest month in business for me. It just all came together. Like all the hard work I put into my Instagram profile, I got paid for it. All the hard work I put into my newsletter, I got extremely big deals. Like this YouTube channel, maybe is not bringing that much money, but it also started bringing some money, right? Like everything started coming together. My personal brand and my coaching business started to come together, and I only coach like a very limited amount of people, but still like I attracted so many cool people that I love working with. And it all kind of came together. And I had this realization like, whoa, probably like in October, we're going to do even bigger numbers and even bigger numbers. And, I'll probably end 2024 with like numbers that I never have dreamed of, So that's the thing, you just literally need to enjoy the journey. That's my point here. And I think you'll get better and better at it. Like, don't rush. That's the thing I did wrong. After Bali, I really rushed. I rushed so bad. I told everyone I want to build a $10 million business, like a coaching business, whatever. Or like really, I didn't really want to do that at all. Like I want a business right now. Right now, what I want is like a business which will bring me $50,000 to $100,000 in profit after tax. Okay, that's super important to mention. Of me working 2 to 4 hours a day, having a great team, having amazing clients, having amazing results for everyone, right? Like whatever service we provide, whatever we sell, I want it to be really good. And that's all I want, right? And we're pretty close to that. Also, why I mentioned like 50 to 100K in profit after tax, there's so many people flexing like, oh, like I make 1 million a month, ask me anything. And like their profit margin is like 15%. Cool, 150 grand a month. I'm not saying it's not a lot. But then they live in a country, or they have their tax set up where they pay like 40 or 50% tax. So at the end of the day, after taxes, they're making like 80 grand a month, right? Like in their pocket. But they're flexing that they're making 1 million a month, which is like only 8%. Like 80 grand is only 8% of 1 million a month, right? So like that's what I mean. So as an entrepreneur, I learned so much about all of these things, and I now realize that what I actually want is like 50 to 100 grand a month after tax, like in my pocket. That's what I actually want, right? And the way you do it is obviously you pay a lot of lawyers and set up different companies and optimize your taxes, and obviously grow a team in your business and have a pipeline and systems and all of that. But that's pretty much it. Where I'm planning to go now, I'm planning to just live my life as I live. Also, I'm planning to travel the world a lot, way more, in the next 6 to 12 months. Planning to go to South America for a while working, while running my business, while scaling it to 100 grand a month in profit after tax. Okay, yes, you heard that right. So that's where I'm going right now. But so far, my story is already amazing. I went from a kid who had no idea what's going on in the world, just asking questions about everything and asking why to actually a successful entrepreneur. So that's it for today. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and DM me on Instagram, and we'll have a chat.